consensus theory among scientists about the existence of other civilizations in the universe. Impossible. The answer to the question that they have out there is, why has no other civilizations contacted us yet? And being that civilizations, after they evolve enough, they tend to take refuge in virtual worlds. So the real universe is too hostile and large to be explored. That means obviously there's people that are trying to get to Mars and so forth, right? That's somewhere in our future where we will be on other planets and so forth. But if we can create that to be something virtual, it's pretty awesome as well too. So the metaverse, it's inevitable. When I heard the term metaverse for the first time, I instantly understood what it's referring to. In the real world, we can have our universe and other universes parallel to ours or not ours. And we call this a multiverse. In virtual reality, we can consider different universes created each by specific apps, games, or simulations, and the whole thing can be called the metaverse. So think about this, guys. This is certain apps. This could be games. This could be simulations, all virtual reality, augmented reality. You can use the words interchangeably, and this is going to be called the metaverse. So what we see now is just the very beginning, but I found that the metaverse is meant to be more than a multitude of game universes. It is the combination of virtual reality, augmented reality, and the physical reality. In other words, the metaverse is something beyond the universe, from the Greek word meta, meaning beyond. The bright side of the metaverse, guys. One of the cool things about the metaverse is that it will allow people to experience an endless virtual world where they can do things they only dreamed of using an avatar. Think about this. Many of you haven't been to Dubai. Many of you haven't been to Africa. Many of you haven't been to Europe. Many of you haven't been to England, Paris, Antarctica, Vietnam, and so forth. Well, you can begin to experience this sort of a life in a new world. Many of us haven't left the United States. Now you're going to be educated and be able to see a world that exists out there that you never had access to because you may not have the money to do so. You can actually create experience. And now don't get me wrong, it's going to cost money. But in this virtual world, I'm assuming it's going to be a little bit cheaper. But there's going to be other currencies inside this world as well too. So just as an example, you will be able to create your favorite relaxing spot in nature, but this nature will be virtual. You will be able to change the scenery just as you would change the wallpaper on your laptop. It is like the internet on a completely new level, 3D and fully immersive. Think about that, guys. Think about that. We're sitting on the internet right now in front of our computers. You're looking at me, right? Just imagine if I was able to allow for you to experience this, if you wanted to experience how to be a YouTuber one day, or how to give a live stream or do a live stream. You can literally be sitting right next to me while I'm doing it. That's what this 3D model is going to allow for people to do. It's pretty remarkable, right? Like, think about it. A lot of us want to drink wine with each other. Well, we can be sitting at a table acting like we're drinking wine with each other and not physically be there. That's what this metaverse is going to be. It's going to be pretty awesome. Those are some of the pros, right? Those are some of the pros. So a more rudimentary version of the metaverse concept can be seen in the game Decentraland, an open world where you can choose an avatar, play games, attend concerts, meet people, mine, make NFT wearables, explore, etc. And you can read the Decentraland here. And this goes into what Brother Christian talked about. How can you make money in the metaverse? A good article to read, and maybe we'll touch on this, is this article here. I'll tag all these articles because they're 3-minute reads, guys. They're quick and so forth. And I like Medium because, you know, they give quick articles and so forth. And to be quite honest with you, they do a pretty good job at explaining things at a high level so that you can understand. But this author says, I believe the metaverse can have the following pros. And I want for you guys to think about this as well. It can bring people together, right? I was talked about the meeting in Chicago. It finally brought people together. We're able to get back after this pandemic and bring people together. Think about the family members that you haven't met yet. Think about the cousins, nieces, nephews, and so forth that live all over the world. Think about the niece that's in University of Oklahoma that you haven't seen in a couple months. You can literally be able to see them and it brings you together. Pretty awesome. Think about attending a sports event from the comfort of your home with some wearables on, getting a full immersive experience. You're able to walk on a field and be able to experience that, a place that you probably never ever been. It's pretty awesome. It creates lots of fun. You can sit down at a table and play cards together. Pretty awesome. Play some spades where I can smack the cards as hard as I can on the table and say, I got you, right? Cutting every one of your books. Cutting every one of your books. Offer that mysterious aura of alien worlds, right? If you guys saw the video that Mark Zuckerberg came out when he or was in when he created Meta created when he talked about the metaverse and how they were able to really like look at art and create art and transcribe this art in this virtual world, be able to pull it down and so forth. It creates this alien-like world where you have somewhat of alien-like creatures that exist over there in avatars. And if you wanted to be an alien, you can be an alien with your avatar and so forth. It makes everything more enjoyable and more interesting. That's going to be interesting. And it could be. It could be. It can prove work at home and homeschooling, right? So think about this. A lot of the times we got to send our kids to school. We have to send our kids to school. Think about the homeschool aspect of it where they can be getting taught by a fantastic professor who's from the other side of the planet, but they can be taught by them. Other areas where education are a lot better than what we have in the United States. That's what this metaverse is going to allow to happen. And guess what, guys? It's going to open the world up, not the United States. It's going to open the world up. It's going to make economies smaller, where now they're large. It's going to make you have the ability to make money if you have skill sets all over the world, not just in the United States or not just in the state that you live in. It's going to make economies smaller because now you're not going to have an entry of or a barrier of entry where you have to fly to another country to get work done. This is crazy. This is crazy. You can be part of this. We are going to be part of this, especially if we're in the tech field. Facebook is literally going to be spending billions of dollars on this over the next several years. I think this year they said that they're going to lose probably close to $1 billion or invest in $10 billion, that is, sorry. So think about it, guys. This is a new world and you want to be a part of it. You certainly want to be a part of it. So, hey, you're on the fence about tech. You shouldn't be on the fence about tech anymore because you know what's coming and you want to be a part of it. And you want to be a part of being able to make money in the metaverse where you can actually bring it back to the real world and have life of luxury as well, right? This is what is going to happen. You see people already getting rich off NFTs, non-fungible tokens, creating art that exists in the metaverse, buying islands that exist in the metaverse for you to visit. It's virtual real estate. Think about that, virtual real estate. Hawaii is an island, it exists. Well, you can create Christian Hawaii in the metaverse and you can literally have it. And in order for people to visit this island, you can charge them a fee and you can design it the way you want to design it. Think about that, virtual real estate. And people are already buying and spending tons of money already in this virtual world. Games like Decentraland and so forth. So the other side of the metaverse is this, guys. The article says, in my perspective, the ugly side of the metaverse is the separation that will happen between people and reality. It is that perspective in which technology fully catches human attention, distracting us from the real world completely. We will become addicted to the metaverse eventually, and our children will grow with it. I also know this as an inevitable direction in the evolution of human species. Technology is, in the end, an extension of us, and technology is our future. Even if some of us may not agree with the direction or may not like it at all, it is where we are headed. Hey, you may not like it. You may not like it at all, but it's happening. It's happening. You may not have liked, depending on your age, that cell phones, and people are already using cell phones and always are using cell phones. Everybody has cell phones. You may not like that, people walk around with tablets these days and have access and so forth, and kids are getting access to internet at a young age. It happens. Embrace the change. Be a part of it. Don't get left behind. In my opinion, the metaverse can have the following cons. Well, here are some of the cons. It can generate addiction. Your real world that you live in is completely different than the metaverse. Whereas you want to have a life and only want to live in your metaverse. And you spend the majority of your time in that metaverse. You remember, guys, when we were growing up, we had like chat groups as well, AOL and all this other stuff, right? Yahoo chat and all this other stuff. And you would get into the chat at night to meet people and meet girls and talk about stuff. Now you got YouTube where you guys are in the chat now meeting people. We got Patreons, we got communities that you build. Well, think about this. When you're in another world and your other world is better than your real world, it can create an addiction for you to where people are going to be really socially awkward, because you can't eat in the metaverse. You have to literally have physical food, right? Now you can experience what eating is like and have that shipped to your house, right? Think about this. You can literally go to a steak house in the metaverse and create that as a part of the real world where you order and all of it comes to your house and you can literally sit at the table and eat like you're eating steak. It's crazy. It just blows your mind of what possibilities that are going to exist there. It's crazy, but it can generate addiction. It can make you lose track of time. It can make you lose track of time. Because if you're thinking about it, if you're working in this, and it's the way how you take care of you and you support yourself because you're able to use the money and bring it back to the real world in some aspects of how whatever that transfer is going to be like, guys, you can lose track of time. You can separate you from your real nature and from the real world. There's going to be some weird people out there. People who may not like lights. People who don't want to go and don't know what it feels like to walk on pavement or the grass, right? It can do all of this stuff. It can overstimulate your senses. So, with every change, every new technology and things like that, there are always going to be pros and cons of it. There are always going to be pros and cons of it. I want to hear from you guys. I'm going to do this. I'm going to open up a nice little Zoom call, and I want to hear what your opinions are on this topic, because I have only been thinking about, some of the, what I would consider to be a lot of the pros. And I'm an optimistic person, and when Facebook came out with Facebook, I was optimistic about Facebook, and you saw what it grew into, because I was one of the first people that adopted the technology because I was in university when it first came out and you had to have an EDU. And we used Facebook for connecting with people in different college campuses and so forth. And it was beautiful. But you see what it's turned into today. Well, the metaverse is going to come out with this first iteration of it over time. And it's going to be probably quite pleasant. But then it's going to morph into something else. What is it going to morph into? I want you guys to start thinking about this